Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with co-host Jay Dash. We got our prospect check for you this week. We're going to talk about Philadelphia Phillies outfielder Aaron Altherr and Pirates starting pitcher Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow is actually just about to bust into the majors, isn't he?
It's possible. Altherr could possibly hit the bigs sometime soon as well. Now, he's not ranked in the top 100 on MLB.com or Baseball America. In fact, on MLB.com, he's ranked the 23rd best prospect in the Philly system. So they're not very high on him. And there's good reasons why. He's 6'5", 215 pounds, and he's already 24 years old. He was drafted in the 9th round, 287th overall, way back in 2009 by Philadelphia. And it's really not because of his defense that he hasn't hit the major leagues yet. He has a very strong arm and enough range to play center field, although they have Odubel Herrera in center field, and he's playing very well for Philly, and he looks like a future piece. So this guy is probably going to play a corner outfield spot, and like I said, he has a strong arm, so he could play right field for you and play the position well because he has very good range, because he has excellent speed as well.
He hits like garbage, though.
Well, not necessarily. Listen, the reason he's been in the minor leagues so long is because of his bat. It didn't come around quick enough for them to give him a call earlier in his minor league career. And if you look from 2009 through 2011, he really didn't show the power that he does have. And the only thing he showed you really was the speed. Like I said, he has very good speed. He had 37 stolen bases between A short and A full in 2011. That was his best season. Now, you're not going to get that out of him. But you look, that season, he did hit 243 and had a 291 on base. So the bat wasn't coming around like Philadelphia hoped. But in 2012, he did start to turn it around a little bit. Like I said, he has a powerful swing. He hit 8 home runs in 2012 in 420 at-bats, which isn't great, but it isn't terrible. But he's been growing into more power each season. 12 home runs in 466 at-bats in 2013. He had 14 home runs between A advanced and Double A in 477 at-bats in 2014. And then this season, he has 14 home runs in 407 at-bats. So you can see he's growing into more power. But like I said, the speed, that 37 stolen bases in 2011 is asking a little bit too much out of him. He does have good speed, but you can see it's going down each season. 25 stolen bases in 2012, 23 in 2013. Last year, it was a little lower than I expect, actually. 13 stolen bases and 477 at-bats. But this season, 16 stolen bases in 407 at-bats. This is something more like I expect out of him. I could see 20 stolen bases in the major leagues in a season, even a little bit more than that possibly. But like I said, he's finally coming into his own as a hitter too. Look, 14 home runs this season with 16 stolen bases, and he hits for good gap power too. 28 doubles this season, and his average has finally come up. Although he's only a 261 hitter in the minor leagues, this season he's hitting 292. His walk rate went up this season. His K rate has gone down. This is one question they had about him. Is he going to be able to make consistent enough contact in the big leagues? You look, last year he had 118 strikeouts in 477 at-bats compared to just 31 walks. This season, 84 strikeouts and 407 at-bats. Now, that's not an excellent number, but it's definitely acceptable considering you're more disciplined at the plate this season as well, taking 46 walks in 104 games.
Well, obviously Gregory Polanco is a better player, but what makes Polanco a better player than this guy? Because they both have similar size and they're both good in the field.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency out of Polanco, the question is, like, he really put it together this season. Will he be able to repeat this success in the big leagues is the real question. Now, I expect his average to come down some, and with that, is his power going to come down? Is he going to get enough chances at stolen bases? Polanco, he's a potential 300 hitter, whereas this guy, he really never had that potential, although he is showing it this season in the minor leagues and has really improved in every category and become a more disciplined hitter. Now, if he does this in the big leagues, he does have very similar value to Gregory Polanco. In fact, I mean, these numbers, if he could repeat these 2015 numbers in the big leagues, this is almost exactly what you want to see out of Gregory Polanco in the big leagues. Now, Polanco, he's probably going to strike out a little bit less in the long run, and he has a little bit more speed too. I expect Altherr to be more of a guy who could possibly hit you 15 home runs and get you 20 stolen bases. Now, he could be a 20-20 guy in a good season for you, but I don't see him as a bona fide 300 hitter from season to season. I expect more of a 250 average some seasons, possibly. He could be more inconsistent from season to season, where Polanco, I believe, should be a close to a 300 hitter when he finally realizes his full potential in the bigs from season to season.
If Altherr hits 270 and he's a 20-20 guy, I think he's definitely a draft win for the spot he was taken.
Absolutely. Even though it took, 6 years to get him to the bigs, who cares? If you bring a guy up, even if he hits 250 for you, if he can give you 15-15 in a season, he's providing value for your team. And let's not forget, he's already good enough defensively. And in fact, he should be above average defensively. And just with his speed alone, if he could give you 20 stolen bases in a season and have no power whatsoever, he's still going to give you value because he has good defense and good speed. But Philadelphia, they have Odubel Herrera in center field. They have Dominic Brown, Cody Ashe, Jeff Francoeur, and Darren Ruff.
Francoeur was involved in some trade talks at the deadline.
Yeah.
A lot of Pirate fans wanted to bring him in.
Yeah, I do not. In fact, all four of these guys I do not consider long-term pieces for any team. And I would give Altherr a chance here soon to see if he can repeat the success he showed this season and see if he finally turned into the hitter everybody expects, because this is a very athletic player, and he has very good raw power and he has very good speed. So he could turn into a very good asset for Philadelphia or any team, really. And in terms of fantasy, I mean, a guy that can give you 15-15, if he can keep his average up around 270, like you said, I mean, that's a great fantasy asset for you.
What about this pitcher you got here, Tyler Glasnow? Every Pirate fan loves Tyler Glasnow. You think he's better than Garrett Cole?
Well, I don't think he's better than Garrett Cole right now. He's going to be better than Garrett Cole. I've been saying this for a few years, actually. But he's put up better numbers.
Does Garrett Cole know you say this about him?
I highly doubt Garrett Cole knows me.
Well, I think he listens to the spread. I'm pretty sure I seen him talking about it on TV the other day.
You're dead wrong. But look, Glasnow, he's ranked number 9 overall on MLB.com, and he's ranked the number 7 prospect in all of baseball by Baseball America. Now, he turns 22 years old at the end of August, but he was drafted way back in 2011 in the 5th round, 152nd overall. So this guy was drafted as a 17-year-old, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of Pirate fans are complaining that you don't see a lot of prospects in the minors coming up and making an impact in the bigs over the past few years. Well, they've drafted a lot of high school prospects, and it takes them a little bit longer to get to the bigs, and Glasnow is a prime example of it. It doesn't make him any worse of a prospect. It just, he's still young, and you can't bring a guy up to pitch in the bigs at 18, 19 years old. But look at this size, man. 6'8", 225 pounds.
I know. I think he's related to Andre the Giant. I'm pretty sure his real name was Andre Glasnow, wasn't it?
You're dead wrong.
I'm wrong all the time today.
But this is a big righty, but he does bat left-handed, actually. But you look at this guy. But Glasnow, he has a live arm. He hits in the upper 90s with his fastball and maintains that velocity deep into games. His curveball is his second best pitch, and it's already considered an above-average pitch, while his changeup works as an average third pitch. But with that high heat, you really only need 2 good pitches. And like I said, he has the excellent fastball. The curveball is already well above average, and just an average third pitch is all this guy really needs. And he's possibly the hardest pitcher to hit in all of baseball. If you look, he's allowed 207 hits in 352.1 innings in the minor leagues throughout his career. Now, if you look in 2013, he let up less than a hit every 2 innings, just 54 hits in 111.1 innings. In 2014, in A advanced, just 74 hits in 124.1 innings. In this season, between well, I guess 3 levels you want to say. He made a couple rehab starts in A short, but between 3 teams in 2015, Double-A, Triple-A, and a couple starts in A short, he's allowed just 56 hits in 78.1 innings. So you can see this guy is really hard to hit, and he has huge strikeout numbers, 466 Ks in those 352.1 innings in the minors. And really, if you look, he had 164 and 111.1 innings in 2013 in A full. He had 157 in 2014 and 124.1 innings. But he had bad control too. Look, 61 walks in those 111.1 innings in 2013, 57 and 124.1 innings in 2014. Now, with a big guy that is 6'8", it usually does take a little bit longer to figure out your control and how to repeat your delivery. It takes a little bit longer with these types of guys that are really tall, like an Adam Wainwright or obviously a Tyler Glasnow at 6'8". It's going to take a little bit longer, and you see this season in Double-A, just 19 walks in 63 innings while the strikeouts stayed high, 82 strikeouts. And the Pittsburgh Pirates were surprisingly aggressive, just 63 innings in Double-A this season, and then they moved them up to Triple-A. Now, some people say it had something to do with A.J. Burnett being injured and them, bringing in J.A. Happ. They really don't have
They have nobody behind Liriano and Cole.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Charlie Morton and Jeff Locke are good number 4 and number 5 starters. But really, they did lose one of their top 3 starters. And a lot of people think that they're bringing him up to Triple-A to give him, 3-4 starts, maybe 5 starts, and then bring him up. I'm not quite so sure. And if you look in Triple-A this season, in the 2 starts since they brought him up,
bring him up.
On the surface, his numbers look good. He has a 1.80 ERA, and he has 13 strikeouts in 10 innings. But here's the thing. He let up 2 earned runs, but he actually let up 8 runs total. Some of that had to do with errors. And his walk rate isn't that great right now. 7 walks in 10 innings. So he has to figure out his control in Triple-A before I would give him a chance in the big leagues. You look, hitters are hitting 293 off of him in those 2 starts. So there's no way bypassing a lengthy stint in Triple-A to put him in the bigs and hope he produces for the Pirates. Because you look, in 2012, a 168 average against. 2013, a 142 average against. 2014, a 174 average against. 2015 in Double-A, a 182 average against. This guy is very hard to hit, and I'm not trying to waste this talent and maybe call him up too early and ruin this guy for any reason. I'm letting him stay in Triple-A, and if he isn't ready to come up this season, don't bring him up. Leave him down, and in fact, don't even start him in the bigs next season. Give him a month or 2 in the minor leagues in Triple-A and see if he can lower that walk rate. Like I said, look, he has 163 walks and 352.1 innings in the minors. That's not very good. While the strikeouts are high, he's very hard to hit. He has to work on that walk rate, and he showed it in Double-A this season, but he hasn't showed it in Triple-A yet. And I'm not trying to ruin this guy. Keep him down there and make sure he is on top of his game and pitching the way you need him to pitch to be successful in the big leagues.
I'm going 1 or 2 more times through this rotation, especially if Liriano's arm doesn't bounce back. And if the Pirates are still struggling in the starting pitching staff, not that the team is struggling, they're still winning, I'm bringing him up. Let him start 1 or 2 games, see how he does, see how he responds. He could end up being the spark that keeps them going. Not gets them going, but keeps them moving forward.
There's Cole. And then I don't see any problem with Liriano. He had a bad start. Every pitcher has a bad start. There's nothing wrong with Liriano. But you do want a good third pitcher. Hopefully it is A.J. Burnett, though. Because, it's already been, 2 weeks they've been out with him almost. So he's probably going to miss another 2-3 weeks at most. Bring him back, see if he's okay. And if not, let's see how Jeff Locke and Charlie Morton are pitching at the time. Because really you only need 3 pitchers. Dude, you don't understand how good these guys are compared to the rest of the league. You just see them not pitching like Liriano and Cole, and you want to call them bad when they're not really that bad, man. I understand they can be upgraded. I'm not saying that, but they're not as bad as you're saying. And really, A.J. Burnett is one of the main reasons this pitching staff has been worse since the All-Star break. I mean, his ERA since the All-Star break is ridiculous. And without him, the ERA would be a little bit better. And in fact, Walker and Morton were pitching better than Burnett was after the All-Star break. So the Pittsburgh Pirates need Burnett to get back. But if not, I mean, I don't want to see Glasnow come up and pitch out of the bullpen, and I really don't want to see him pitch out in the rotation either, unless he can show in the minors he can go at least 6 innings, because he hasn't done that yet either, and he has to show a lowered walk rate, and then I would think about it, possibly.
I don't see the harm in giving him 1 or 2 starts in the majors.
But if he's struggling in AAA, how do you think he's going to be successful in the big leagues?
The adrenaline from being called up and being counted on is going to kick in.
Well, listen, most people's
Dude's just going to mow
debut
people down.
start doesn't go very well for starting pitchers.
Didn't you see Brendan Fraser in that movie throw a perfect game? 27 pitches?
Yes, the scout. That usually does not happen.
Or was it 27 outs? I don't think it was 27 pitches, was it?
No, it definitely wasn't. He threw 109 mile an hour.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But Glasnow, this guy is a top of the rotation pitcher, and it's going to be him and Cole for the next 4 or 5 years at least.
Hopefully.
As the 1 and 2. Well, they're not going to deal him. They're going to wait till their contract runs out.
I hope one of their arms don't blow out. That's all.
Oh yeah, I mean that could happen to any pitcher in baseball. I mean that's just part of the game.
Been having bad luck with it lately. That's all.
But if they can get Glasnow up here by next year, you're going to have Cole, Glasnow, and Liriano as your 1, 2, 3, and then after that, they're really. I mean, you just need some good 4th and 5th pitchers. So you already got your top 3 once Burnett leaves. And then you still got Kingham and Tyon. But Tyon is 25 years old, so he's not going to pitch this season in the big leagues. He's going to be 26 years old when he finally makes his major league debut if he has no more setbacks. So he's kind of an older guy now, so he's really going to have to pitch well right off the bat, because we don't want to see this guy take 2 years and be a 28-year-old finally turning into the kind of pitcher you want. But Tyler Glasnow, I do believe he is going to be better than Garrett Cole eventually. Now, not when he, like if you called him up this season, he's not going to pitch better than Garrett Cole. And he's probably not going to pitch better than him next season, and probably not the season after. But when this guy, just like Garrett Cole, it took him a few seasons,
right,
and now he's the ace this season. Glasnow's going to be the same type of player, and I think he is more of the pure, can't hit kind of pitcher that you do not want to face in a 1-game playoff or any kind of playoff.
6'8", 225 pounds.
Yeah, he's just like he's
Randy Johnson.
He's like big like Wainwright, man, but he is going to be more unhittable than Wainwright is.
He needs to learn how to throw a slider.
It'd be nice, but like I said, man, the upper 90s fastball, even though his changeup isn't the greatest pitch in the world, when you throw a fastball that fast, any kind of off speed is going to have hitters off balance. And the above average curveball, I mean, that's really all you need when you're hitting the high 90s late in games.
The slider was my favorite pitch on PlayStation. That's why I wanted to throw it.
Okay.
You could strike out anybody with that thing, or beat him in the knees.
But Altherr, I'm going to say the Philadelphia Phillies got to give this guy a chance. I know they brought in Nick Williams at the trade deadline, another prospect outfielder who is actually probably a better prospect than Altherr is. But Altherr, I mean, he's 24 years old. He's shown he can hit this season. You got to give him a chance sometime. You got to do it while he is hot. I mean, if you wait and he comes out next year and he's cold, then this guy is never going to be a major league player for you. Bring him up while he's hot. Maybe you can catch fire and turn into a pretty decent player for you. Give you 15-15, 20-20 seasons, no matter if the average is at 240 or 280. And then Glasnow, a lot of people believe he's going to come up this season and pitch out of the rotation for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't think they're that desperate. I think they're going to let it go until next season. But I did want to do a prospect check on this guy just in case he does get caught up. And if he does, don't expect too much out of him this season, at least in terms of fantasy. I mean, you probably want to go pick him up and see what happens, but I wouldn't pick him up and then immediately put him in the rotation, because I could see this guy pitching 4 innings for him, pitching well, but him not going deep in the game, them letting him have like 70 pitches or something like that. So I'm not looking for him to do too much this season, but next season they really need this guy to be a big part of this rotation eventually, at least halfway through the season.
He's got to be beast because AJ's 80% of the team.
according to you and Easy.
No, I didn't say he was 80% of the team. I said he was the heart and soul, but not 80%.
The heart and soul.
He's the heart and soul. Doesn't make up 80% of the team, though. But that's all we got for you on the Prospect Check. Thank you, fans, for tuning in. Fans, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to the YouTube page. Click subscribe.